Welcome everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I'm joined once again by my good friend Matt.
What if you see Big Bird robbing an old lady? What if you see Big Bird and Barney slapboxing? What if you see Big Bird walk up to you and ask where Sesame Street at?
I knew that this was one of the few times I knew what your intro was going to be.
Yes.
But it still startled me because your new Denver Bronco, everyone. Miss Jerry Jeudy, back. Someone said high school.
That would be about when he was in high school.
Yeah, it was very philosophical about Big Bird, and asked the world a lot of questions about him. And that was
a lot more that I didn't want to repeat or come out of my mouth.
which you know what though, like, thank God that was like the only, because we've had like in recent years like some interesting social media controversies, some that just have actually hurt people's stock, and things have gone down. Thank God that was like the most controversial Twitter thing that
I don't even know if that counts as controversial.
I know it's not. outside of like what if Big Bird fucked Elmo, which is just a weird.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. That's a little uncomfortable. But
right.
But like, you know what? Whatever. Like, if that's the limit, then I'm okay with that. So draft happened. It
sure did.
It happened. Your thoughts generally on how the draft went?
It was fun, but there were some very, very confusing situations.
So, and when you say situations, do you mean Mr. Titan, or do you mean like pick situations?
All of them.
Everything.
We cannot forget Mr. Titan.
Okay, well, so what we're gonna do is, I think what I'll do to kind of speed things along is we'll implement news items into going through our like the round one order, let's say. And then if we want to talk about anything that happened later rounds, we could do that at the end. But I want to start out right out of the gate with how, for the first 10 picks, pretty chalky. Like just nothing insane, right?
It felt natural. It felt like, okay, I can see that happening. It's the quarterbacks went where they wanted, we thought they were. The certain positions, like we knew that the Giants were going to take an O-line. It may not be the O-line that we thought, but it was an O-line.
Sure.
Panthers took a defensive player. Cardinals, we thought were going to take an O-line, but they took a really good defensive players, and it all felt right.
Right. And just to touch on a few, like you said, Joe Burrow got what we have been expecting since he won the national championship. He was the number 1 overall pick.
Even probably before that.
Yeah. He was basically locked in there for a while. He had been the Bengals guy, and that's locked in. And so was Chase Young to the Redskins. That was pretty much locked in. We thought the Lions would trade out. That didn't happen. They ended up taking who we all thought they would, Jeff Okudah. The Giants took a different route than I think some people were expecting with Andrew Thomas, but I've heard even prior to him being drafted that he was rising up the draft boards because he was just the all-around offensive pro-ready tackle and lineman that
makes sense.
It just made sense. So I was, as a Giants fan, very happy about that. And then the Dolphins picked, and I was so worried that this was not going to happen this whole time after everything that they've been through. But finally, the Dolphins, the tanking for Tua, actually still worked out for them, even though Ryan Fitzpatrick won them games still. Tua is in their hands. Tua is now a Miami Dolphin. And Justin Herbert went to the Chargers after that. And then Derek Brown to the Panthers, Isaiah Simmons to the Cardinals, as we talked about earlier. Go Cubs. That was the big defensive player that a lot of people were looking forward to. Really talented guy. And CJ Henderson went to the Jaguars, replacement cornerback for their 2 lost corners, and Jedrick Wills to Cleveland. So then you go a little bit further down. The Jets took the another really good offensive lineman, Mekhi Becton, And then the Raiders, for the first wide receiver off the board, take Henry Ruggs.
They took the fastest guy in the draft.
Yes.
Not the best wide receiver in the draft, but the fastest. Which I heard a lot of people say, and I didn't know much about his draft philosophy, but their late owner, Al Davis, would have been proud in terms of how they draft.
Well, let me just say, though, like, people say that about almost every single Raiders draft pick. It's kind of getting annoying at this point. Like, oh, that's a real Al Davis pick. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, I've yet to hear people really explain that to me well. Like, I get it. Like, he's a fast guy. He's probably gonna do very well for them.
He'll be fine.
Guy. Yeah,
and he's a first round receiver. Like, there was no question that Henry Ruggs should have gone in the first round.
Yeah,
but he was a hard number 3 for me.
Right. No.
Lamb and Judy were by far like more expected to go higher than he was.
Yeah, if I were to put money down, I would have said Lamb would have been the first, and and Ruggs. Spoiler alert, but well, you guys should know what happened with the draft. But Ruggs and Lamb, I would have just flipped their positions, and that would have made a lot more sense to me. I would have thought that Lamb would have gone and then Ruggs. So I thought it was fascinating. It just like Raiders just always seem to be like that organization that just wants to mess with the status quo and not be like everyone else with like they don't want to listen to mock drafts. Maybe it's because they have a guy who has done mock drafts or who has been like a talent evaluator for a network for a long time, and maybe he just wants to make everyone's mock drafts look bad. I don't know. So it's just very strange to me with the way the Raiders are doing it. But hey, if they got the talent that they wanted, that works out well for them. The Buccaneers got an offensive lineman, Tristan Wirfs, and we're gonna pause here because we gotta talk about the big news story that came before the draft. What was that?
Oh, that's
Matt?
right.
Yeah, we forget about these things happening, but what happened, Matt?
Rob Gronkowski been traded to the Buccaneers.
He back
from the Patriots. Rob is back.
Yeah,
it's fine. Like, it's not. I don't think it's as big of news or deal or impact on the Buccaneers as everyone wants it to be.
Sure,
but still, like that's pretty weird.
Well, yeah,
Gronk's is like, hey, my bud moved town. I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah. Like well, I think that it basically. I think someone else might have said this in like a column somewhere, but it kind of felt like when Gronk retired. Yes, he was dealing with a lot of injury issues, but especially to his back. But he was more so, I think, sick of the Patriot culture, and it kind of showed that, hey, I'm willing to come back to play football as long as it's not with the Patriots, as long as it's with my buddy Tom Brady. And so it just it made sense. I mean, the Bucks or the Patriots, I think, got like a 4th rounder in return. Nothing.
It worked out for both parties.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't like a blockbuster trade or anything. I mean, everyone kind of made a lot of connections to the fact that like Marshawn Lynch, like a few years ago, around this time, was traded for a day 3 pick to go to Oakland and play for Oakland for a little bit of time. If it works out for them, then it's great. You get one of the best tight ends of all time, the best quarterback of all time. You put them on the same field, it could work out for them. Who knows? So that was pretty interesting.
It'll either work out for them or it will be the movie Grown Ups 2.
Wait, why that movie in particular?
I don't know. I couldn't think of like. I was trying to think of like a movie that
is
about, well, not necessarily that's bombed, but partially, but a movie about like older people like getting back into it, and I couldn't think of one, and for some reason I'm pretty sure Grown Ups is kind of like that plot, and then I said Grown Ups 2 because adding the 2 on it makes it funnier.
Well, yeah. Thank you for walking us through your comedic process. I was thinking maybe like it's like a sequel because it's now it's like a second chapter in the Brady Gronk bromance of sorts. But yeah, I think why not for the Buccaneers? Why not give this a shot? And it sounds like they want to keep OJ Howard after all of this. I mean, now they kind of have to. They can't really trade him for anything that they can get now. So I don't know. Maybe this is going to just work out for their talent pool. They have so many freaking weapons to choose from.
And they will all catch 5-yard passes because that's how far Brady can throw.
Oh, wow. The next up, so the 49ers were one of like the big names frequently throughout this draft. And I just want to like take a pause here as well and just talk about how they got one of the underrated defensive players at the draft in Javon Kinlaw. They get a receiver in Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State. But then later in the draft, after moving up and down the board a bunch in the first round and some of the later rounds as well, they acquire offensive tackle Trent Williams. We've been hearing this guy wanted to get out of Washington for years now, even still when Bruce Allen was at the throne of Washington's organization. And he finally gets his wish. He's finally out after what has just been a tumultuous ending to his Redskins career. He is now a San Francisco 49er. What do you think about the 49ers at this very point?
I mean, they almost won a Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
And then just got better.
Right.
Yeah.
It's surreal. They also traded Matt Breida to the Dolphins and Marquise Goodwin to the
Eagles.
Yeah. So you got,
which is move that satisfies everyone. Like San Francisco had a wonderful few days.
Definitely. And do you think that Goodwin and Breida, from a fantasy point of view, do you think that they have a shot at like their like Breida making like a run at the starting running back role, considering that he was like amongst the 4 like running backs that San Francisco was using?
Yeah. I mean, he might. It's him and Jordan Howard, and I think Jordan Howard is going to get most of the share there. Marquise Goodwin, I'm really not sure, just because of I don't know what all the Eagles are going to do. Like they went from he definitely has a chance because they had nobody at wide receiver. Yeah. And now he'll have a chance to compete with Alshon and compete with their rookie pick to try to earn a spot.
Yeah. Then you have the Denver Broncos, who took Jerry Jeudy off the board. Falcons went a little high to get AJ Terrell, cornerback. The Falcons were looking to trade up. Did not happen for them. But so that I think they just settled on AJ Terrell. And then the Cowboys. This pained me. I actually like felt like a rock in my stomach after this pick, because as you know, I'm not like big on like talking about the Giants like rivals and being like, oh, I hate their guts, you know, like it's just not who I am. But I've just as a personality, like their personalities and who they are, like I just never really loved the Cowboys. The
Cowboys are terrible,
and never really loved like Washington either. So there's just I don't mind Philly. I think that's like supposedly the Giants' big rival or whatever. But my God, did I hate the Cowboys more than ever when they took CeeDee Lamb, because they had so many other needs. But God damn that offense! That's
absolutely a pick to prevent Philly from getting Lamb.
Probably, right? Like
yeah. I mean, and it's the like we were talking about how we didn't expect Ruggs to go before Lamb or Jeudy. I'm pretty sure the Cowboys felt the same way, and I've read things that they were like, none of our projections had Lamb falling to us. Yeah, like he was that good of a player that they thought, and I kind of agree with them, that
Sure.
it's an injustice almost that he's fallen this far.
I completely agree with them, and it's kind of refreshing to hear something so honest
Yeah.
on that front. About saying like that how can this even happen? And they're kind of right. I was just hoping that it would just be like they pick like a Clavon Chasen or something, like just getting someone else in there, and then like have CeeDee Lamb just go to a team that's like a little bit more likable. I don't know, but I commend them for the pick. That's a fine pick. It kills me as someone who has to watch them play and see them succeed, because I just feel like it's gonna work for them, at least for this year. Because how this works for the Cowboys. They have a down year, and then they have an amazing year, and then they falter again. This year is they're gonna be like a big year. This is supposed to be their up year. So it's like,
I don't know if I totally buy into that.
But
I mean, you have Dak Prescott throwing to fucking Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup with Ezekiel fucking Elliott as your running back. So who knows?
Yeah, right. and I mean, I think that we'll see how their defense does. But I don't know. I think that this is a good squad. Dolphins took Austin Jackson. Raiders once again with a completely curveball to picking Damon Arnett, a cornerback, supposedly was like a 3rd round pick, now getting picked in the 1st round like that. They have the Jaguars took Clavon Chasen, as we mentioned earlier. Then you have the Eagles who took Jalen Reagor, and the Vikings who took Justin Jefferson. So another 2 wide receivers off the board there.
Both of them in good positions to contribute immediately.
Oh, absolutely. I think all these wide receivers picked in this round would. And then the Chargers, who did not have another 1st round pick, traded back in to the 1st round with New England
via the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots just traded out because that's just how they do it. And Chargers took Kenneth Murray, linebacker out of Oklahoma, and I there was no one that I saw get as much praise in terms of late round, 1st round picks like Kenneth Murray, because he was just being praised up and down as like he's the locker room guy. That's such a trope, but it's a guy that just has so much respect, is a leader, could be a captain in year 2. Like,
this Chargers defense is gonna be scary.
Yeah, right. Like you got a lot. Like you still got Ingram there. You got Bosa and you got Derwin James at the back end. Like this is a great group. Like Kenneth Murray is kind of like your replacement, I think, of Thomas Davis, who left in free agency. So, it really is that's like a perfect pick for them. It's probably worth trading up. Then the Saints got Cesar Ruiz, center. We talked about Ayuk already, and then the Packers. So this was not. So Miami was supposed to pick here, and then the Packers traded up, and I kind of thought, all right, they're trading up, probably to take a wide receiver. Wide
receiver.
You got maybe like a Higgins or a Pittman or a Denzel Mims.
Right. I was thinking like trading up, probably like T. Higgins. This seems like they really want this guy.
Right.
They gotta provide something to Aaron Rodgers.
Right before the pick was read, though, I did text you, and I was like,
yes,
what would happen if the Packers picked a quarterback here? And you're like, I would something along the lines of like, oh my god, no way.
I'm pretty sure I said I would lose my shit or something.
I would lose my shit, but it's not going to happen. Well, it happened. Jordan Love goes to the Packers, and the fallout from this has been very fascinating to watch, because supposedly no one told Aaron Rodgers this was going to happen. No one warned him.
Oh my god.
And it's not like the Packers were waiting there and the quarterback fell into the lap, like AKA 2005 when Aaron Rodgers was falling and he kind of just fell into the Packers' lap. They didn't trade up.
They traded up.
They traded up. They were like, "That's our guy. We're going for him. We're just going for him."
I want to read you something.
Go ahead.
So this is career touchdown passes to first-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
So Drew Brees has thrown 104 touchdown passes to first-round picks. That's I'm just going to say player and then the number. Brady, 205. 105.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning has 293, which is a lot. Favre, 127. Roethlisberger, 69. Nice. Aaron Rodgers, 1.
Wow.
To Mercedes Lewis last season.
Holy shit.
Aaron Rodgers has thrown 1 touchdown pass to a former first-round pick in his career.
Wow.
The Packers do not care about supporting their quarterback how they need to. It was like it was all like the stars rearranged themselves in this draft to say draft a fucking wide receiver. And they took a quarterback, traded up for a quarterback, no less. And then with a later pick, took a running back, even though they had the running back who led the league in touchdowns the previous season.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
The Packers taking Jordan Love was my favorite moment of the draft as a Bears fan.
As a Bears fan. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of surreal that, like, this team has not picked an offensive player in the first round of the draft since 2011, which
offensive players or skill position.
Offensive players, period.
Okay, so not even line. Fuck.
So they haven't picked an offensive player since 2011 in the first round. That was the year that they're coming off their Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah.
Right, or their Super Bowl win. Yeah. Their win. They haven't picked any offensive players, and the first time they do it, it's like, let's see, deepest wide receiver group in memory, which, by the way, they don't even pick another wide receiver at all during this draft.
No, they don't.
And they're like, let's pick. Let's not think about right now. Let's think about in the future when Aaron Rodgers is gonna be setting sail. Let's right now,
this second, when you were a game away from the fucking Super Bowl,
let's take a quarterback.
And adding a wide receiver would fix that problem.
Like the whole
dude.
Like some people feel like. I've heard that there were some takes out there that say that the fact that the defense could not get enough pressure up the middle for the Packers was a major issue, and if you look at their draft, they did address those concerns in various picks, which fine. We can agree that that's at least one of the elements, but the other element is that there is not really. You look at the wide receiver group; it's just not that deep. And we've always been saying this about Aaron Rodgers, at least for the last few years.
It's Davante Adams and no one else. No one else has been able to step up and be a consistent number 2. You can't just have Davante Adams. Davante Adams is great. He's a very talented wide receiver. He should be the number 1 on the team. But you can't do it with one receiver.
And the Packers, too, you have to consider the fact that, that they had that their situation in the NFC Championship game was that Davante Adams was completely shut down, because of the fact that all they had to do was just block Adams, and that was it. And he's been asking for this for so freaking long, Aaron Rodgers. He literally was on a radio show 24 hours or 48 hours earlier saying, hey, it would be great if you guys could take a wide receiver. He was literally pleading with the team, please take a receiver. And they took his successor.
I sound distressed. I could not be happier right now talking about the failures of this fucking team.
I mean, look, we're probably all knowing the Packers' luck, because they've had probably the best luck of any franchise in terms of quarterbacks. Knowing who they are, Jordan Love could be outstanding for this team. It could be great.
And you know what else is going to happen? Jordan Love is going to win 1 Super Bowl because Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre combined have 2 Super Bowl wins.
Right, but ultimately, like, people are going to look back at it and be like, "This is a brilliant pick." Because it's the fact that they have the quarterback and that they could take the quarterback and groom him for the future, have him sit on the bench behind Aaron Rodgers and have him be groomed for the future. Great. But why, like...
You're not a build for the... You are not the Dolphins. You are not the... You're not the Dolphins. You're not the Bengals. Least... You were a game away from the Super Bowl.
Right. And think
you were the second best team record-wise in the NFC last year.
Yeah. And think of it like this, too. When you look back at the Brett Favre time, and I was a huge football fan back then, so I apologize if my facts are not completely correct on this. But Brett Favre was openly talking about his retirement for a long time, and that included around 2005. And so the fact that he was throwing that shit out there, that's why the Packers took Aaron Rodgers with that pick. Because 1, he fell in their laps, and 2, you have to start preparing for the future, especially if your quarterback's talking about retirement. This was not one of those situations. Aaron Rodgers has said, I mean, he probably hasn't said that, I'm going to play till I'm 40, but he's been saying that he wants to play for still a long time. Like, he still wants to be in this league. He still wants to play.
And he can do it.
Yeah. You know? So,
he's up there with, like, Brady in terms of they can play for a long time.
Right.
And they're still good after a long time.
And Favre, he dropped off in his last year, but, like, when he was with the Vikings, he was pretty solid. Like, he had actually brought them to the NFC Championship game. You know, so, like, it's... I don't know. We spent a lot of time on this. It is the biggest story of this draft. And it's turned the perspective of the Packers' future. You know, it has just thrown everything upside down for this team a little bit. Can they still win the Super Bowl in this current state? Maybe they could.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand completely why, especially in a wide receiver rich draft, why you wouldn't at all take one wide receiver. This. Yeah, one wide receiver.
Because
that's like
it's mind boggling.
It really is. And then the rest of the first round, pretty much nothing too big. Yeah, the Seahawks took Jordan Brooks, Patrick Queen from the Ravens, and then Isaiah Wilson for the Titans. Then Dolphins took, surprisingly, a cornerback, and Noah, I'm not gonna try to pronounce the last name right now, but he that was a little surprising because they have like the highest paid cornerback duo in the league. That might have been a slot cornerback that they were picking. Maybe that's the role that they're taking, but I guess still a strange choice for their third first round pick. Then there's Jeff Gladney, cornerback for the Vikings, and then probably the last really interesting first round pick, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if you are drafting for a dynasty league, doing a rookie draft, he is your 101.
There you go.
You pick him first. I have the 110 because I won the championship last season. So I will not be getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I just know that for a fact.
I just know that
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I will not have him on my team. However, he's the best pick.
Yeah. I said, and when Chet Avery was here, he said it as well, and I felt like this as well. I really felt like going running back here was just the smartest play for the Chiefs, because maybe
it makes so much sense.
It was maybe like, and not to say that Damian Williams is not great, he is, and I'm sure that they could have maybe gotten like more extra secondary help or something. Like I don't know, but I just think adding another weapon to the offense is just fun. It just, come on, like, keep on. But they were thinking about taking Henry Ruggs if he fell to them. Like,
Whew.
Like, think about that. Like, that's like insane. Yeah. So I love it. I love it for the Chiefs' strategy. Okay, let's talk the other few other few picks here. We won't go through all of the rounds, but what's a pick that you'd like to discuss?
So, could I just like talk a bit about the running backs in general, where they landed?
Yeah, sure. Go for that.
The bigger names. Okay, yeah. So pretty much all of them, I really like their landing spots in terms of how they can potentially take over pretty early on. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's great. He can start this year and be amazing. Jonathan Taylor, I love his landing spot in Indianapolis, especially now Indy, they don't have to pay Marlon Mack, and they had this amazing talent in Taylor. J.K. Dobbins on the Ravens is almost unfair. As soon as Mark Ingram leaves, Dobbins is going to take over the role. He's going to be amazing next to Lamar Jackson. Cam Akers to the Rams, I think, is great. The Rams don't really have a clear number one there. Keyshawn Vaughn to the Buccaneers, a little bit later pick, but someone I watched play at Illinois before he went to Vanderbilt and is considered a Vanderbilt player. But I watched him for most of his college career.
Yeah,
which is cool. The only one that I don't really like is DeAndre Swift going to the Lions, just because now the Lions' backfield seems crowded. Unfortunately, I don't think the Carry-On experiment is working out. Maybe if Carry-On is good and then DeAndre Swift can add to that, they'll have like this 1-2 punch at running back. But it's better for the Lions as a team than I think it is for DeAndre Swift.
I think the Lions are very much gung-ho about this running back by committee style of play, and does it work sometimes? Sure, you got in Kansas City, is a great example of that. It kind of works, but I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know if like DeAndre Swift maybe like a little bit more of on the bulky end, could be like a little bit more of like a between the tackles guy. Maybe, but I kind of agree, because I think that they're too similar. I think of running backs, for me to kind of feel like, okay, I could see where they're going on. I could see this working as a running back by committee thing. Like, I don't know, it could, but I just don't necessarily see it right now. And AJ Dillon, like, that was the other one that we talked about with the Packers already, but. Mm-hmm. I felt like they went with it for the second round. Does that mean like Jamal Williams is out, or they just want to have like a ton of running backs? Like, because I mean, I Matt LaFleur kind of. I mean, go ahead. You finish.
Jamal Williams isn't that great of a running back.
No, I know.
Especially compared to Aaron Jones.
Sure.
But if they go like with how LaFleur I think wants to run things, having two good running backs is a positive.
Well, yeah, Matt LaFleur comes from like the Kyle Shanahan tree, and Shanahan loves his running backs, loves working with as many running backs as possible. Right, exactly. Like, it's kind of that might be just the case that he's just gonna try to get quite a few little running backs here and there, to kind of make it all kind of come together. I think the other quarterback controversy is worth noting here in Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts, who I was high on, because I liked watching him play in Alabama and in Oklahoma. Thought he was a pretty good player. Was surprised not to see him touted amongst the best, but I get it. I could see where maybe he just didn't have, the talent level that the others did. But lands in Philly as a second-round draft pick in a surprise move, just because of how high the pick is, and considering the fact that they have Carson Wentz there already. What did you think about this?
This has made more sense to me at maybe not the like how high the pick it was, but Carson Wentz has gotten injured a lot. and gotten injured at very important moments through the season. And I think having a capable backup is important for that.
Definitely. Yeah, I
As
agree
much
with
as I
that.
love Josh McCown, like having Jalen Hurts there would be a much better fit.
Yeah, well, McCown, I don't think he's no longer on the roster
Yeah,
anyway.
so there you go.
I mean, I think that there's some Eagles fans who are like, what about Nate Sudfeld, because everyone, because that was the other guy that was like that had always been in the backfield, but in the quarterback room.
Yeah.
During the the Eagles Super Bowl run and stuff like that. I think that some people were saying like, hey, what about him? I think that I maybe they just I could see it where Doug Peterson just enjoys seeing the talent that Jalen Hurts brings. He's just a dynamic playmaker, and like I could see that maybe they groom him a little bit. And yeah, if Carson Wentz goes down, maybe they try him on. Maybe they're not as high on as Nate Sudfeld. Maybe they would get rid of him as well. I don't know. It was just surprising. I think considering where they pay. Maybe they just wanted a really good backup quarterback, and they felt that they had to take this approach, and
it's like they got their wide receiver. They patched up the secondary issue with Darius Slay.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, what else do we do? Let's draft a quarterback. Maybe that was the attitude. I don't think that's the attitude you should have, but.
Well, maybe they were looking at needs instead of like best player available type thing,
right?
Which that can sometimes falter for a team, but I don't know. I mean I think I'm on the edge of like doesn't really make a lot of sense, but at the same time I hear the fact that Carson Wentz is injured a lot. I hear that argument. I get it, and I think that Jalen Hurts could really work out well for Eagles. But I can't. If I'm Carson Wentz, I can't help but think: are they drafting him to potentially take my job eventually?
Oh yeah.
Which is for someone who is just completed his 4th year in the league. It's hard to kind of swallow that pill, even though Wentz had like a monster like second half of the season. Like he
absolutely.
Despite everything, like he had like a great end, and to kind of I can see where he feels like a little unsettled by a pick like this, but I like Hurts, and maybe Hurts and Wentz will like learn to just embrace each other, and Hurts will understand that it's Wentz's team, and Wentz will understand we gotta have someone behind me just in case I get hurt. Could also just be that everything is hunky dory with the Eagles, so we'll see.
Last thing before we move on,
sure.
Mr. Titan.
Yes.
Mike Vrabel's draft situation was all shades of interesting. He had one guy off to the right. Actually, I don't know if that's a guy or if it's a standee of him when he played for the Patriots. Because it looks stiff, but wearing a number 50 Patriots jersey, which was Vrabel's number. Behind him is a Tennessee Titans flag, which is not unfurled all the way, like parts of the logo are cut off. There's a man in a blue and white morph suit, which, upon looking closer, looks like a Frozone Halloween costume. But okay. Chris and I have dubbed him Mr. Titan.
Yeah.
And then a mirror in the back looks like a dude is on the toilet with his pants around his ankles. I think that's just a bad angle, honestly, but it's way funnier to imagine if there's a dude shitting on.
No, it was a bad angle. It was not someone on the toilet. The number 50 guy that's not a standee. That's one of his sons, I think. Okay. Yeah.
It really, like, in the one screenshot, it really looks like it's a fucking cardboard cutout.
Oh no, absolutely. No, I get it. It was just a very dynamic, and then like the next day, I think there was so much talk about it. His house was just empty, with the exception of like the Titans flag behind him. Oh yeah, no, there was a lot going on there. And
there's that. There was Mike McCarthy's extreme close up.
Yes,
there was Matt Nagy's Pepe Sylvia room.
Yes, it was Nike Belichick, which is Belichick's dog. Yep. There was a few fun moments about it. It's funny because the sweet thing about all this was, well, this was done. All of this was done in very tough circumstances, and I think what some evaluators, some coaches, some GMs have kind of come out of it based off of what I've seen from interviews and stuff is that they loved having the experience with their family and they enjoyed being around their family during it to the point that some of them might actually want to do this from home more often. You know, like it is kind of wild how within like a 3-week, 4-week span where there's people who are actively saying, we don't want this, we don't want to do it, we don't want to do it, to people saying, that was fun. I enjoyed doing it. Yeah. So I thought that was I thought that was sweet. I just thought that was really nice, all things considered, that they kind of worked out on that front. I don't think that there was anything else that I wanted to point out necessarily. What do you real quick, if we want to touch upon our teams?
Sure.
What did you think of the Bears draft?
The Bears draft, I give anywhere between a C+ and a B.
Okay.
It was good. I was like, yeah, okay. I wasn't thrilled about any pick except for the Johnson, the cornerback.
Sure.
Where I was like, yes, absolutely, this is a fucking amazing pick. Overall, though, like I think it was okay, and it helped that I got to laugh at the Packers so much.
Right.
The Panthers, I just want to talk about it because this was the first time in an NFL draft where it was the picks were spent on all defensive players.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool.
It's interesting. It's an interesting approach. I mean, there has been rumors that this team is looking to potentially tank this year. But I don't know. Maybe they just want to go as defensive heavy as possible and make it easier on Teddy. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So beef up the defense, and then, I mean, you probably still need help at O-line and tight end, but you pretty much have your wide receiver and running back and quarterback figured out for this year. So
sure, absolutely. The one thing I wanted to point out about the Bears pick was that, boy, were the Bears fans on my Twitter feed on pins and needles about the Bears' first pick and not the first pick.
Yes,
that was fun sitting through.
And it was a fucking tight end. I think we've released some tight ends since, but there was a point where there were 10 tight ends on the Bears roster.
Yeah, that was Cole Kmet was the 10th.
Kmet was the pick.
Was the 10th tight end.
Yeah.
On the roster. I think after that there was a release or two. But yeah, no, I love the Jalen Johnson pick for you guys. That was, I think, a big piece, a big important piece for you guys to have. I know that there are some Bears fans that want safety, but I think that a good cornerback in Johnson and a safety in A. Jackson, I think you guys will be fine.
We also did just sign a veteran safety today from off of the Texans.
Oh yes, Deshaun Gibson. I forgot about that. For the Giants, I would say it was not like I feel like I've looked back in panic about the Giants on especially in the Dave Gettleman era. I would say that this was a bad draft for them. I kind of felt that they did the right thing with the first pick, Andrew Thomas. I think that there are some people who were surprised by it, but not like surprised and be like, oh, how dare they? Like not like the Daniel Jones pick.
Not Jordan Love surprise.
Yeah, no, right. No, like this was kind of like oh, okay, because it basically there was like 4 offensive linemen all near the top, and the Giants had the pick of any of them, and Andrew Thomas ended up being their pick, and I was very happy with that. I was like, okay, good, we're good. And then I was really worried about the defense. Their best pick was their second round pick in Xavier McKinney. They got one of the best safeties in the draft. Very, very, very happy to get to see that pick happen. I would have loved to see something happen with the defensive line a little bit. They do like some of the players that are currently on that defensive line. I get it. They really drafted linebacker heavy. They drafted like 4 different linebackers, so they're very heavy on that front. They drafted some people in the secondary, another person in the secondary as well, but and a few offensive linemen. But I think that they addressed everything that needed to be addressed, maybe with the exception of wide receiver and defensive line. But that's all I'm nitpicking at this point. Outside of that, I'm like, all right, that this was fine. This was a fine draft. We'll see how it works out. I still think that this defense is one of the worst in the league, but let's see if things change and my mind changes about that at some point. Now, other news that happened after the draft, and I'm sure that we'll talk about other things that happened in the draft that we just haven't gotten to right now. But Jameis Winston found a home. He is now the backup quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. He basically fills in for Teddy Bridgewater in his role, and kind of throws the whole Taysom Hill storyline into more of a flux, because you kind of thought, like, okay, so now they're just going to roll with Taysom Hill as their backup now, because they are so gung-ho about him potentially being the future of the franchise that they're going to, if Drew Brees needs to come out for a few snaps, that Taysom Hill would come in and be the backup. But Winston's kind of the backup of the situation, isn't he? Like, there's some weird things going on. What did you think of the signing?
I think it fits really well. I'd still call anyone crazy if they think Taysom Hill is going to take over Drew Brees' career, considering Jameis Winston has thrown to more Saints players than Taysom Hill has. and also, so this may not mean as much for you. In ESPN fantasy leagues, Taysom Hill was granted tight end / flex eligibility.
Yeah.
Because that's more what he serves on the offense rather than quarterback. So
sure,
take that for what you will.
We did see that one game. Was it the playoff game? I don't know. There was that one game where he showed up and like he played quarterback for a little bit, and he was pretty good. Like, he wasn't terrible, but he was. But it was interesting to see him in action as a quarterback, and he seemed like a dynamic player. But you're right. Like, it's just like what evidence do we have out there right now that he's going to be a feature of the quarterback position?
Because I feel like if he was, Teddy wouldn't have been the backup last year.
Right.
Teddy wouldn't have come in for Brees last year.
And they would not have Jameis Winston come in here either and fill and now be the backup quarterback. I just think that when are you actually going to sit here and be like, what you've been boasting so much about Hill, like you literally put a first round tender on him, so that way, like, if anyone tried to sign him, they would have to give up a fucking first round pick in order to get him. Like, you're so high on this guy, but you still draft you still sign another veteran quarterback. So to me, from Jameis's point of view, great. For the Saints' point of view, I'm like, okay, but like, what's happening with Hill? Like, why is this fascination with Taysom Hill so much that you feel like you need to keep him as your quarterback of the future? Because that's what he wants to do. He's gone on radio shows and said, like, I want a starting position in the NFL. I want to start. I want to be a starter. I don't want to be this tight end guy forever. So I don't know. I'm a little confused by the whole situation for the Saints, but for Winston, good for him. Finds a good home. And last but not least, Andy Dalton was finally released today. He was trade bait for a little while. They were, I'm sure looking for...
No one bid.
Yeah, for like a, 4th round, 5th round pick, maybe even higher. Who knows what they were really offering. But no one really took the bait. So they decided to part ways. And he is now off and having to find a job. So now it's him and Cam Newton. Who's gonna find a job first?
I don't know. Either way, I think one of them is One of them is going to be on the Patriots. I think it's going to be Dalton.
Yeah.
But Dalton is either going to go to the Patriots or the Jaguars.
Well, that's the Jaguars I've been hearing is like Jaguars is probably his best shot at getting a starting job at this point, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one, I'm pretty sure he could at least go toe to toe with Minshew.
Yeah.
If not, just be better than him. And his old OC Jay Gruden is there.
Yeah, I think that just works out. It would work out great for him if the Jaguars would allow him to be there. They need to figure out that backup quarterback situation. I know they drafted the quarterback as well, but might as well just get another veteran in there for Minshew if you want to groom Minshew even further. I feel for Cam, man. I understand the situation with his injury and with the circumstances that be out there for the NFL where they can't really go to facilities and they can't get use their doctors on Cam Newton to see if he's healthy or not. Dude is one of the most talented players in the league. It was the most talented player in the league in 2015. And has now just kind of been completely...
And that's the thing. I still think that Cam can start somewhere if he's healthy.
Mm.
You just don't know if he's healthy. If he can't run, he's not gonna be good. I'll say that even as a Cam Newton fan. He's got to be able to be mobile. But he can't prove that right now, and that sucks for him. I hope he gets a starting job somewhere someday. Even if it's not this year.
Yeah, if it weren't for, again, and you could say this about a lot of things, but if it weren't for the circumstances, again, with COVID and the world as a whole, he might have a job right now because people would be able to evaluate him. It's just that unknown, that it's just kind of sitting there, and he's just... I think that based off of what has been reported about him, that he's willing to wait till August until he can find a place that he can be the starting quarterback. I think that he's gonna bank on, and obviously you hope that's not the case, but quarterbacks go down sometimes with injuries, and he might take advantage of that. So we'll see how it goes. So there you go. Cam Newton and Andy Dalton both on the market now. Jameis Winston off the market. And Gronk is in Tampa. Weird world. Strange world. All right. So, we are moving on here. So supposedly, because who fucking knows anymore, the schedule is going to come out next week, we think. They kind of keep on saying May 9th, that's going to be the day. Mm-hmm. And so, May 9th is a Saturday. So, that's almost a week from today. So, we figured let's do our schedule predictions, because it's usually, the schedule has always been one of the fun things I've always enjoyed about the off-season when the schedule drops, and evaluating it to no end, even though it doesn't mean anything at the same time. So, what was your approach for these schedule predictions, Go Cubs?
I didn't have anything concrete in terms of how I decided to do things. I took a little unorthodox approach to our week 1 selection.
Sure.
My week 1 selection.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be just straight up. I figured that because of the way that they're going to organize the schedule is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen, because of the fact that they need to be prepared if, let's say, they have to cancel the first 4 weeks or something. Yeah. I went all in on interconference matchups. I did all 16 matchups that are going to be played week 1 would be all interconference matchups. Because those are the ones... I love interconference matchups, but they're also the ones that matter the least, and they are also the ones that can easily be removed from a schedule if need be. So I just went full-on interconference mode.
Okay.
That's how I did.
So gonna just be honest here.
What?
Forgot to do all of them. For some reason, I thought it was just the Thursday night one, week one. My brain totally just fucked up. So,
all right. Well, then I'll go first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go first, and I'll go through.
I am so sorry.
No, hey, no. But you know what? We usually highlight the Thursday night football one because that's the one that is significant. Yeah, but I usually like going through all of week one because those are the games you most look forward to outside of like the playoffs and the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Because you're anticipating football, and that's why I always like predicting all of week one because I feel like it's gonna be interesting. Now, with that said, my Thursday night kickoff game would have been great, right? If the Patriots or the Texans, who are scheduled to play in Kansas City, would play on Thursday night with Kansas City. That would have been wonderful. However, in this modified world that we are in, and having to deal with potential cancellations, the Chiefs are going to have to host a interconference opponent, and I had two options to choose from: the Falcons and the Panthers. Not necessarily the best two options for a opening matchup. I decided let's go with the Falcons, and I will have Falcons against the Chiefs on Thursday night football. What you said that you had your Thursday night football, right?
I have my Thursday night. All of my other ones are not going to be interesting.
That's fine.
I don't have the math to put together any
you're fine.
any big ones. So I'm going to just throw a curveball and say that the Chiefs are going to play Thursday night.
Yes.
But in Las Vegas to rein in the new city against the Raiders.
So they're not. It's not going to be a home game anymore.
No.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting.
And that's the only interesting thing of note that I have. And again, I apologize.
No. Hey, no, I like it. Well, this is because of what they did last year with the Packers-Bears starting the season. They've kind of opened up the door of this random new things kind of happening. Like with Thursday night, not just keeping it that the Super Bowl champion hosts. So I think that would be interesting. I think that some Kansas City fans might be upset by that, though.
Absolutely.
I could see that they would not be happy about that, but. Hey, you might get Sunday Night Football in the following week, and then you'll get your primetime batter raise. So Sunday Night Football, I decided to go with who probably could have been the AFC champion had it not been for a Derrick Henry coming through, with the Baltimore Ravens, and they're playing the NFC East this year, and so I thought, why not put them against the ratings juggernaut Dallas Cowboys in a battle of two crazy offenses for Sunday night. And then for my Monday night the two Monday night ones, I have the Eagles at Steelers for one matchup, and then the late matchup, the Raiders host the Buccaneers. So Tom Brady goes to Oakland and faces John Gruden, and the Raiders were rumored to be one of the teams interested. I think that ended up being squashed basically near the end of the Tom Brady trial, or what's the right word? Free agency tour. That's the T word, not tour, trial. Yeah. Oh God. Please don't get involved in any more trials, Brady. So that's I very much, I feel like that would be an excellent cap for Monday night, and it would keep people tuned in to a 10 o'clock slot that tends not to be watched as much. People are staying up for Tom Brady's debut, and it being in the debut of Las Vegas as well. I feel like that'd be interesting. And then my other teams, the other matchups I chose, Browns at Giants, OBJ's revenge. Packers at Colts, Rams at Bills, Lions at Jaguars, Titans at Vikings, Texans at Bears, Trubisky versus Watson in that sense. Nice. Broncos at Panthers, Bengals at Redskins, number 1 versus number 2 in the draft. The 49ers at Patriots, Chargers at Saints, Drew Brees facing his old team probably for the last time. Dolphins at Cardinals, and Jets at Seahawks.
Good choices.
I just, because you know what, this is just how I ended up having to structure it, because I just think there's going to be some weird matchups early on in the season considering the schedule changes. What about Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving I did.
Okay, so what's your 3 for Thanksgiving?
So obviously the Lions host. And they usually keep this one in division, so I'm going to say they face the Packers this year.
Okay.
Cowboys are facing the Steelers this year, and I thought that would be a nice, like classic, America's team showdown, Cowboys versus Steelers on Thanksgiving.
Sure, absolutely.
I think I don't know who's home, who's away, but I just did that.
Well, Cowboys, I think Cowboys would host the Steelers this year, I think.
Okay.
I think.
Then
so
that works.
Then it works out, yep.
Yeah. And then I thought, who's been a team, usually they do, an in-division game, and it's been NFC South a lot of the time,
sure.
Past couple years, but I don't know, maybe they'll change it up. 49ers Rams, I think both of those teams would get a lot of attention, so that's going to be the night game.
Okay. Yeah, that works out. I actually, as well, I also had Packers at Lions. I went with Giants at Cowboys because I don't know. I guess I want to torture myself. And then I did Buccaneers at Saints just because I think Buccaneers are going to be inserted into some sort of primetime slot whenever they get the chance. So
yeah,
I think that's where it's going to happen for that week. And in the Saints, of course, it'll be Drew Brees versus Tom Brady on Thanksgiving night. And they've been doing a lot of NFC South, but it's good ratings.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line.
Especially when the Saints are involved.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so that is your schedule predictions. And we'll see what kind of craziness happens next week. If it happens next week, I mean, there's been some rumors that they've said that they might delay it. Who knows?
Right.
But
we don't know, because if they release it and then the season doesn't start, they got to redo the at the beginning of September. Like, if they go to mid-October and then get rid of bye weeks, they got to redo the whole fucking thing.
Oh, so, yeah. No, I think that they have to. I think what's going to happen this year is that there's going to be a whole lot of interconference matchups early on, and then the last 4 or 5 weeks are going to be all division play matchups.
Yeah.
So in case they have to start play in if they're able to play, they have to play in November, mid-November. The last 6 weeks of the season, it's just gonna be all division. It's gonna be awful, but it just, this is the circumstances that
we're in for probably one of the most interesting seasons of the NFL.
Oh yeah,
we've ever experienced.
Yeah, and that's not even considering the COVID implications. This season's gonna be fucking weird. Just with all the
free, especially quarterback free agency.
Yeah, everything that has changed.
The coaching changes, and the coaching changes happen every year, but it seems free agency this year hit different.
Yes. Even
before the COVID stuff.
No, right, exactly. It just, everything just feels very strange about 2020, and it certainly, no matter what, even if we get the full season, which, knock on wood, hopefully we do, that's it's all weird, baby. I love it.
Yep.
Chaos. All right. Let's do our VVBFL.
Yes. Okay. So to recap, everyone, on the teams, we have 5 right now. We have the Brainerd Paladins from Minnesota, sporting the blue and green. We have the Escondido Artisans from California, sporting red and purple. East Chicago Blacksmiths, hailing from Indiana, they wear gray and red. We have the Weatherford, Texas Sheriffs in orange and pink. And we have the Mansfield, Connecticut Weavers, wearing white and navy.
Okay. Are you ready for our new team?
Yes, let me pull up Wikipedia.
Okay. Perth Amboy.
Say that again, because you cut out a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Perth, Perth space, Amboy. A-M.
That is in New Jersey.
That is New Jersey, population 50,000.
50,000. This might be the biggest city, except maybe East Chicago. East Chicago might be bigger.
In Middlesex County, New Jersey. So there you go. That's pretty close up the Northeast coast, but that I guess you're gonna have a little bit of a rivalry.
Yeah.
There between Mansfield and Perth Amboy.
Mansfield.
Right there. I wrote Masonfield here for some reason.
It is Mansfield.
Mansfield. Sorry, Mansfield. All right. Perth Amboy. Let's learn about the city.
So that gets New Jersey, and then it only eliminates Pennsylvania and Delaware.
Yeah, well, yeah, because everything north of New Jersey essentially got eliminated last time. A lot of it did.
So just looking at the map before we go into Perth Amboy.
Yeah.
Do you want to eliminate the rest of New England? So Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
We could do that. We can. I think that's a fair trade off for that, and I think that our focus should be on the rest of the East Coast at that point.
Maybe one more team in the West.
I
think one more team in the West, and then one more team in the Southeast.
Yes.
So are there any other states on the East Coast that we want to eliminate so that we can kind of corral it all to more the Southwest? Like if we got rid of like Maryland and the Virginias as well. Or do you want to keep those in?
I would not rule against like a DC team. I'm okay with like eliminating West Virginia. I mean, there's like one nice town in West Virginia, and it's Huntington. And we all know we know the reasons why.
It's familiar.
It's familiar,
but not too familiar.
Yeah.
But not too not familiar.
I think because like I wouldn't be against a DC team, but also I'm fine with keeping our options open right now, and then like we can discuss
look. Yeah, just looking at the map, like having one more team out west and having a team in the southeast
why another west team?
Because we got California out west,
right.
We got and then Texas and Minnesota. There's nothing in the like Wyoming, Colorado area.
Yeah. Okay. So like I mean like you wouldn't count East Chicago then as a west.
It depends. Well, I wouldn't count a state in the Eastern time zone as West.
That's
division,
true.
No,
that is true. That's fair. Okay.
If you want to be accurate, East Chicago is in the one part of Indiana that's in Central time zone.
Yeah.
But still.
Well, no, I hear what you're saying. I wanted clarification that would be an Eastern Conference town. So
that's what I'm thinking. And maybe we're planning this out too much and not as much in the spirit of it just being 8 random cities. Well, but with the spread that we've got so far, like we could do it.
Yeah, no, I like listen. I at first it was just gonna be 8 random, but I like that we're trying to care as much about it, in terms of its geography, while also including 8 random, places, including a place called Perth Amboy.
Right. Let's get into this.
Yeah,
This is the largest city that we've done.
That's insane. I would have not imagined that.
Actually, let me check Escondido real fast.
I feel like Escondido would be bigger.
Escondido is the biggest.
Oh,
still.
Oh, okay. What's the population?
143,000.
Oh yeah, no, come on. Yeah. No, I was like Perth Amboys. But that's still though 50,000. That's a lot. I just want to. What's the seal? I need to see the seal because I need to see what this place represents. Images.
It's weird because so Perth, just Perth by itself, that's a city in Australia.
Right. So, okay. So Perth Amboy looks like they're by the water, and they're also their seal is is their seal is barking obnoxiously. Now, it looks like it, and I'm gonna send this to you. It looks
I can see it.
Oh, you can see it. It doesn't.
Yep.
It looks like a horn, right? Like a horn on the left. Like what is?
I would guess anchor.
Okay. I'm so used to the generic anchor looking things that like they have like the top thing on the left. And stuff, and then on the other side.
This podcast brought to you by Anchor.
If I brought to you by Anchor. Yeah, I just insert the ad right here. If I remember, I'll definitely do that. Okay, so they seem to be very sea centric. Have we done anything very sea centric?
We have not.
So it's worth considering. It's worth it's worth considering.
Yes.
But I would also like to learn a little bit more about Perth Amboy. We should give respected time to these places. Are you on the Wikipedia page for Perth Amboy?
Yes, I haven't found anything of note yet.
Okay, because that is of course at least my favorite part is learning about anything that like any crazy crap that these towns have been involved in.
If you look at the Wikipedia page on the on the right hand side towards the top, the county that Perth Amboy is in is about the same shape as New Jersey, and Perth Amboy's location in the county is about the same location as the county's location in New Jersey.
Huh. That sounds slightly confusing.
Okay, but do you see what I mean?
No, I definitely see what you mean though.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was more for you than the listeners.
Yes. I hope that whenever we do this, that the listeners are at least taking note of this and maybe doing some research on their own, because we should learn about geography of these great American towns. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen.
There's something called the Perth Amboy Ferry Slip.
Okay.
Which is very historic. It looks like connects to like Staten Island.
I was gonna say this town seems like it's very close to the city and Long Island and all that.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, it's like right there. I scrolled down a little bit. There is a section of this called Chicken Town. Chicken Town is a neighborhood in the western part of Route 35 south of Spa Springs, just south of Route 440. It shares many of the same characteristics of Spa Springs, but to a lesser extent. The city's largest park, Washington Park, is located here. It received its name for all the chicken farms that were located before World War II.
Huh.
Chicken Town.
Chicken Town is a very, very tempting thing to base things on.
I know, right? Like, now I'm like, what's the name of this actual place? I don't know. I just like Chicken Town.
It's just Chicken Town.
It's just Chicken Town now. I do love that. So now we just have like, I just pictured like if we wanted to combine these two elements, I just picture like a chicken in like one of those like those floaties chilling on the water.
Yeah.
That's where my mind goes now. Like that's the embodiment of Perth Amboy right there. I'm trying to see other things. The notable people. There is a lot of notable people from this place.
Really, let me see.
According to this Wikipedia place.
Wow.
I'm trying to. I want to see if I can have one that like stands out. There's Milkbone the rapper. That's the first one that stood out to me on that one. There is not. I don't think there's anyone that I can see.
No, there's a lot of like law people.
Yeah. Oh well, there's Richie Sambora, a guitarist for Bon Jovi, which that's as New Jersey as you can fucking get.
Yes, absolutely. Wow.
I just right there. They've included.
The first one on their page is inventor and manufacturer novelty toys, including the Joy Buzzer. That's Soren Sorensen Adams.
What is the Joy Buzzer now? I forget what that is.
It's that like you put your hand down and you're like oh, John Bon Jovi himself was born here.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! No way! John Bon Jovi. All right, so it's the Perth Amboy Bon Jovis. We got it.
No, we gotta stick with our theme. We've got this far.
Oh shit! That's insane. Good for Perth Amboy right there.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, interesting.
But like a Joy Buzzer's that thing. Like you like pretend to give them a handshake and then they shake your hand and they get a little shock.
Oh, that's not joyful. That's painful. That's not...
Well, it's just a prank, bro.
Oh yeah, all right.
The very first is just a prank, bro.
All right,
to be invented.
All right, Twitter, give me a break. All right, all right. So the John Bon. All right, so now I just pictured like a chicken with like the John Bon Jovi haircut for the floating.
Yeah,
chilling.
Where it's like the fucking I don't even know what they're called. The fucking rooster thing that goes up is in.
Yeah, actually, you know who I'm picturing? It's that one chicken character. I think it's a chicken character from Crash, the Nitro Kart, or the Crash, Tag Team Racing, or whatever.
Yeah, the fucking newscasters,
where the announcers, the one that keeps on changing.
Yeah.
That is who I imagine the embodiment. Him in the water would be the embodiment of Perth Amboy right there.
Right.
All right. So water, John Bon Jovi, chicken. Let's have our pick.
Okay, so I think that whatever we do, like chicken's got to be the dress up and dance mascot. But I think we should. I really think, especially since we don't have anything nautical, that I think that a water theme of some kind would fit well here.
Okay. What are some water themes of our D&D classes, if there is one?
Well, there's like different names for pirates. Like there's swashbuckler or privateer. Let me look up pirate names.
Okay. Interesting.
Buccaneer, privateer.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do Buccaneer again.
Yeah. And we can't do Raider at all. Marauder, that might be a cool one.
Marauder.
Privateer's a little more, like, official.
Okay.
Like, regal, I guess.
Marauder seems... well... Perth Amboy. The hard thing is the town. The city seems to be like it's a hard thing to make it flow because Perth Amboy, as it stands, it's hard to flow it a little bit.
We could do so. Like we could do. I don't want to do the state name because I don't want anything to be associated with New Jersey.
No, of course not.
Yeah, that would be cruel.
That would be harmful to our players and our association.
So it could be the Perth something or the Amboy something.
So
or the PA.
Do people call it like Perth for short or anything like that? Like I'd be curious to know, like if there is like a colloquial. You know what I'm saying?
Colloquialism.
Yes, like there's that it goes that people are like it's the common phrase used.
I don't know
for Perth. Like I mean, I want to see if I can find like a letter by the mayor or something. That maybe that they might talk about that. Wilda Diaz. Do you have a letter or something? Says history. Just kind of talks about the city, the Superstorm Sandy. No. All right, whatever. I think we could call it Perth for short, and then if someone would be kind enough from Perth Amboy to confirm or deny, people just call it Perth Amboy or Perth. That would be great. Yeah. So Perth. And what was the role again that you had in mind with the Pirates?
Privateer is what I'm leaning for.
The Perth Privateer. I'm a sucker for alliteration.
We don't have any alliteration.
All right, well then, let's fucking change that.
All right, Perth Amboy Privateers.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we just need colors. That's going to be a little tricky.
Yeah, so where are we at right now on the color front?
So we have, we could do blue again. We have a blue team. We have a team with royal blue, and then we have a team with navy.
Oh, well then I feel like I'm always a fan of adding some light blue.
Okay, so powder blue.
Powder blue. Let's do it.
Or sky blue.
Yep.
So, privateer, sky blue. I don't necessarily want to copy the Chargers because I was thinking like sky blue and gold would look really good, but that's just the fucking Chargers.
Yeah. That's tough. That's hard to say because I feel like yellow. It would be so easy to do at that point.
We just to know we don't have any yellow teams.
We don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be against the yellow.
Could do yellow for like gold. Like the actual like gold coins, doubloons.
Yeah, we could. What about orange? Where have we used orange?
We've used orange once. It's the orange and pink sheriffs.
That's right. Well, all right. Let's throw a yellow in there. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world to do blue and yellow again. Especially it's a different type of mascot.
Right.
Blue and yellow. So yeah, that's fine.
Do we want to maybe do gold the main color with blue accents?
Sure. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's have it be gold with blue accents. I would love that. The stadium. Perfect. Water Stadium in Perth Amboy, New Jersey.
Excellent.
Just fits.
It's just called Water Stadium.
It's called Water Stadium. Just fits the name. Right. Fits it right there. If I can get, I'm gonna see if I can zoom in here. Looks like, and this may be a not really much of a surprise. Looks like it's on the water.
Wow. What do you know?
No. Actually, you know what? I don't think it is. I think that it looks like it's like in the side streets, but it's Perth generally is nearby the water, so it's kind of like it's maybe like a half a mile away. I don't know.
Yeah.
Regardless, Water Stadium is where the Perth Amboy Privateers. What it is? Privateers.
Yes, Privateers.
Yeah, where the Perth Amboy Privateers are to be played. So, all right, I'm gonna organize this really quick now. So, in the East right now, we have the East Chicago Blacksmiths, the Mansfield Weavers, and the Perth Amboy Privateers. And in the West, we have the Brainerd Paladins, the Escondido Artisans, and the Weatherford Sheriffs.
Yes.
And so we're basically looking for one of each now. One in like the Utah, Nevada, Idaho, Wyoming.
Nevada's off limits.
Nevada, oh, that's true, because it's right next to
California. Yeah.
California, okay.
But Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Montana, Idaho, Washington, like that kind of area for another West team.
Yep, and the East is the
Southeast. Yes, or the West team could also be Alaska or Hawaii. If that ends up happening.
That's true. So all right, so we'll see how it goes. I'm still very happy about like once we're down to the last two teams that we need to get, and yes. I cannot wait because I know that when we do have all 8 teams, we're gonna start to make things organized, and I have a lot of fun ideas, ways to approach this.
Me too.
I've talked to our good buddy Walsh, who has said that we can work with him maybe to figure out a way to execute this league through a D&D style game.
Oh, I haven't heard about this yet.
Yeah, because I brought it up to him. I was just like, maybe there could be something that we could do like tabletop wise to make this league work.
Yes,
and it sounds like we're gonna. I think you and I will work together on making a big board and getting the draft in order. I have a lot of ideas for the draft, and on its own site and its own way.
Yeah.
So
we can talk about this more about like what responsibilities we want each of us to have.
Oh yeah.
Like if you want to set up the draft stuff, and I can work mainly on the uniforms, whatever that is.
Yeah. No. Hey, do you want to actually design the uniforms? Because that would be awesome.
I would love to design the uniforms.
Go for it, man. I'll give that to you. And then Matt Matt Walsh could work on. We can have him. Well, I would want to work with him on it, and I'm sure so do you. To kind of a way that we can execute something like this during the fall. I think that this is like, if worst case scenario happens and like the NFL season is just completely obliterated by
this is what our podcast will be on.
This is we have a plan on how we're gonna follow through every single week with a football season, so to speak. So we have a lot of ideas, and like I said, we've talked about it in past podcasts, but our idea is to fill these teams with video game characters that we think best fit certain roles: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, all that.
Because we are such huge nerds.
This is what Virtual Ball Boys is. This is what we've been preparing for. This has been our big moment right here.
This has been the culmination of our entire podcast careers.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, this is we're moving towards that right now. So it's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. Next podcast, we will. Yes. We'll talk any news and stuff like that, but I know that you, Matt, have a very specific segment that you'd like to move forward with.
Yes, so if you're listening to this sequentially or whatever, I highly recommend that before now and the next podcast, you read the story 17,776, or What Football Will Look Like in the Future.
So that is the.
Just Google it.
Yeah, it's a big piece that is going to be that we're gonna read and we're gonna talk about. That'll be our middle segment, and of course we'll cap things off with our 7th VBBFL team. So I think it's all come together.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Yeah, we'll see.
For VBB, for you to finally read 17,776.
Yes. Yeah, everything will come together. Looking forward to it, guys. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope everyone's safe and doing well out there. Things still suck, and I know everyone's having a really rough time, but I know that you all, and we will all get through it. Just hang in there. Hang in there. I believe in you. We love you. Thank you again for listening.
Good night.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
And good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.